There are plenty of people who have hit comas of all different types and they did not rebound. They did not have the mind power. They did not have the energy to fight. They just stopped and said, you know what, game over. That's not you. That's not your situation. And we're back. Welcome to the latest episode of Commerce and Chill. I am Jessica Johnson Cope.
I'm Waleed.
Hey, Waleed, what's good?
Chilling.
Yeah, you know, you were kind of dragging last week.
Yeah, I'm still am today. Freaking 3:30 in the morning phone calls and people calling me to ask me some reckless stuff. I feel like I'm about to pass out. I'm like a walking zombie. I'm like in a coma.
You look like you're about to pass out, like you're in a coma.
This is crazy. I'm just calling me. 3:30. Mr. Cope, I got a question about my schedule, bro. Wait, you don't
What time do you go to work?
1 o'clock in the afternoon. You had to call me at 3:30 in the morning to ask me that?
Yeah.
Man,
I just want to know what time to go to work.
And then another one. Supposed to be to work at 5:40, 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm calling because I don't feel well. You don't feel well. You don't want to go to work because it's raining and it's sleeting outside.
And it was a holiday.
You lazy.
Yeah, that's all right. But then she's going to be calling talking about, I didn't get paid.
My hours ain't right, bro.
My hours ain't right.
Called out. That's why your hours ain't right.
They be forgetting.
Forgotten. You sure? I only supposed to have 40 hours. Wait, you only went to work 4 days, 8 hours a shift. What are you talking about 40 hours?
Well, I think it's very timely that you talk about being in a coma because last week and the week before, we had COVID throw us a curveball at both of our businesses. And we were literally in a COVID coma at the Soapbox and here at Johnson Security. So, Cope, today's topic is COVID coma. How do you bounce back after you stumble? Because life, whether it's personal or business, has wrapped you up and slowed you down, and you trying to make a comeback in spite of it. So each of us in life, whether it's business or personal, can become complacent. Thank you, boss.
I don't know what that was.
We can become complacent, and when things are going well, we take our eyes off the prize and just start to coast. Sometimes things will come and it'll rock our world and we can't figure out how to get past it. And that's exactly what happened to us. So today, for today's episode, we want to talk to you about what we did to overcome our COVID coma and how you can use these tips to wake up when you have a commerce coma. You like how I did that, right?
Commerce coma. Yeah. I like that. Mm-hmm.
So tell the people in Commerce and Chill Land, Chief, what, or rather, how has COVID recently impacted the Soapbox?
First of all, let's be clear. We've had more cases of COVID between both our businesses in the first week of January of 2020, what is it, 2022?
2022.
Than we've had since COVID started back in, 2019 COVID started?
COVID-19, yeah.
2020 or whatever. Whatever that bat came out the cave and landed at some open food market somewhere and it started infecting people. Whenever that started happening, we've had more cases the first week in January than we've had the whole time COVID has been going on.
Facts.
Through all the strains.
Facts.
We had, between both businesses, we had a total 12 people get COVID. 12.
No, that's it. I think it was more.
No, I'm talking about when COVID, from the time first started.
From 2020 until
December 30th, 31st, 2021.
Yes, that's
We had
true.
like 12 people between both businesses get COVID.
Yes.
Now, all of a sudden, the first and second week in January, we had like 20, 25 people, maybe even 30
Facts.
people be like, oh, I got COVID, I can't come to work.
Well, I was exposed to COVID.
Or
I got a quarantine.
I got quarantined for a month.
Can I get my sick pay for COVID?
I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I know what part of it is.
What is that?
Part of it is, people got, what's that, fatigue? Like
COVID fatigue?
Well, I guess so, because it's been 2 years now. They getting all laxed and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But the other part is,
they're wearing the mask down here. I'm sorry, masks belong up here.
Then people want to go to functions.
Hanging out at the holidays.
New Year's Eve parties, Christmas.
Let's be together. We
and
want
acting
to
like
see Grady
COVID ain't
again.
out here. You got COVID-19. You got Corona flu, you got the Delta variant, and now you got Omicron, what is it?
Omicron, but it's dancing around from house to house like it was Omarion.
And I'm like,
throwing some music. Touch. Yeah, the Omicron variant is touching people get it. Like Omarion does.
Like
on the
people was like,
floor.
"Oh, you coming over for like Christmas and New Year's?" And I'm like, "No,
I'm trying to live. Can I live?"
Went somewhere. I ain't gonna say no names. And they was like, "Oh, you need to come over because we gonna be in town. You need to visit." And I'm like, "Okay, maybe it'd be like 3 people there." Go there, walk in the room, and it's like 12 people there. And I'm like, "What? Like, bro, what are you doing? You trying to kill me?" It's like 12 people there. They got masks like this. They keep
it was
taking
12,
them
including the 2 of us and the baby.
12 people there.
You said you walk in, it was like 12 people.
When I walked in, it was like 12 people there. And I'm like, why are all these people here? I was like, you know what? I ain't taking my mask off. I ain't taking my coat off. Matter of fact, I held my breath the whole time I was in the room. And then everybody taking their masks. They want to take pictures and get all hugged. I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? Like really, like what are we really doing here? People are just like so willy-nilly. And that's why COVID ain't going away. And it keep mutating and mutating. It's like wear your mask and just stay away from people so this thing can go away. That's it. That's the only way.
Well, okay, so just to put this in perspective.
It's annoying.
How many employees do we have at the Soapbox?
5.
And so one person at the Soapbox tested positive and potentially was exposed to all of the staff there. Yes or no?
Yeah.
And
we could have had to shut the whole store
while
down.
we were waiting for everybody else to get their test results, we contemplated shutting down the Soapbox.
And it happened right after Christmas, right? People mad willy-nilly going around. So think about it. You got a small, mid-sized business. You got anywhere from a handful of people up to 20, 30 people, and they all work in a very similar, in the same workspace. One person comes in and could easily infect everybody else. And even if they don't infect everybody else, the fact that that person tests positive and then other people got to go test and you got to quarantine because you possibly could have been exposed, what's the business supposed to do? Right. If you run a cafe, you run a bakery, a coffee shop, you run a bodega, you run a nail salon, you can't work from home.
Well, this is the thing about
I'm going to do your nails via Zoom. How does that work?
Oh, you put one of those filters on.
I'm gonna do your laundry.
I got a nails filter.
I'm gonna do your laundry via Zoom.
Well, this is the thing. When we talk about impact, if we had to close the Soapbox, not only does that impact the people who work for us, their ability to earn a check,
what about the clients?
That impacts our customers. So if someone was waiting to get their laundry back so that they could get their dry cleaning to wear to work, now they
how about just have
clean
underwear to wear in the house?
Clean underwear or clean socks. You know, it's snowing.
For their Zoom call.
People want to have on layers to go outside. They can't get that. Like, we can't say, oh, well, we pass it to you through the door. No, it's like we literally almost had to shut down for an entire week because some people didn't take into account what the impact would be on their coworkers and on our customers.
Same thing at JSB.
At JSB, it was even.
It could be even worse.
It was different. It was pronounced in a different way because some of our key clients needed extra coverage because of how their businesses were impacted as a result of COVID. Thinking of 2 clients in particular, one of our clients is in the healthcare space. And so they started to increase the number of people who were coming to get tested, and they needed more security. And we weren't able to ramp up at the speed with which we wanted to ramp up because people were just not available.
Just left money on the table. Just took money and threw it on. You ever trying to light your barbecue, the grill, and you're like, oh, I need some newspaper, something to light the charcoal briquettes. We just took stacks of money and just threw it on the charcoal and just lit it. That's what that was by not getting more people.
And in one of our clients, they had to literally put their own staff on the bench.
That's my money burning
because their staff wasn't COVID compliant, and so they were like, we need your people to fill in for our people. Didn't happen. Stacks on the barbecue grill. Kingsford, up in flames. Goodbye.
Boy, it sure is warm in here.
Yeah, talk about fire.
It's my money burning.
Oh, that doesn't smell good either. So, that being said, it really threw us for a loop. How did it make you feel, Chief, over the last 2 weeks, aside from being tired and mentally exhausted from trying to think through how to address the challenges of this COVID coma in both businesses? Like for real, like you don't typically hear me talk about feelings in business, but I think that this is a time where how you felt.
I'm just telling you, it's annoying. Somebody gets, like, you want to know how I feel? I'm annoyed. Somebody gets COVID just randomly because, like, you're taking public transportation, like you got your mask on, you doing what you're supposed to be doing, or you touch a dirty doorknob and you scratch your eye or whatever, your face, and you get it. Okay, fine. But, like, people are like, oh, yeah. People come to work. Hey, how was your weekend? How was your holiday? Oh, I went to visit this person there, and then this, and then they show photos, and I'm like, 30 people in the room.
No mask.
No mask.
No mask.
Or people call me over the holidays, right? This is facts. Friends and families. They call or they Zoom and they be like, yeah, we want you to be on this holiday Zoom party. And I'm like, whatever. I can't get COVID through Zoom, so I'm down for that. Then when they move the camera where they are or the phone, and I see like 15 people in the room, no mask. And those 15 people don't live in the same household. Like they from other places, other states visiting. I'm just like, so we doing this? I'm not even so. I'm like, just think about that though. Like, let's think about it from a real perspective. One, you get sick. Mm-hmm. Two, you get somebody else sick. You know you can die from this, right? COVID shot, booster, whatever. It's a possibility you still could die. Right. Your chances are slimmer, but you could still die. Okay, so I don't die. But guess what? I get it and give it to somebody else, and they die. Like, how's that feel? Like, I just killed somebody because I breathed on them. What? Like, think about it. People was mad willy-nilly with this shit. Then...
All right, Salt Bay.
Whatever. Then you take it, you go to work. Oh, so you get some people sick at your job. Then how about your job has to shut down? I didn't think about that. And then if they shut down and then you don't get paid. Oh, well, I'll just get unemployment. Okay, well, how long that's going to last for?
Especially if you're unvaccinated. Shout out to all the people who choose not to get vaccinated.
Let's remember, unemployment is a fund. A fund means somebody has to contribute to it for it to pay out. So if enough businesses don't have revenue coming in to contribute to the fund, where does the fund get money from? Like, people think about things one way. They don't think about it. Just like, put the blinders on and focus on it. So you ask me how I feel? Like, when people don't think about, you don't even got to think about the full picture, right? Because some people just, they're not going to, they don't have that depth, and I get it. But can you think at least 3 steps ahead? Yeah, I'm going to go here. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go hang out at somebody's house. And then I'm hanging out at somebody's house or a relative's house, and there's like 10 people there who I don't see on a regular basis, who I don't spend time with, who I'm not familiar with their habits. Like, it's serious. You can do some real freaking damage out here.
So let's bring it back to help the people in Commerce and Chill Land who may be vaxxed, who may not be reckless, may not be going to these face-to-face events and not considering the impact of COVID. Let's bring it back to business in general, life in general, what a commerce coma might look like for you. So,
means your income, your business revenue is in a coma. It's sitting still. It ain't doing anything.
I love the dictionary. And so Merriam-Webster defines coma as a state of profound unconsciousness caused by disease, injury, or poison. And we could really drill down on what all of those things could be with respect to your business or your personal life. What are different examples of disease, injury, or poison?
You know how many businesses close? Like, I don't even know what the stats are.
A lot.
A Dasher came in the store the other day. And he's like, oh, all the dry cleaners in my neighborhood closed. And he don't live that far away from the box. And he's like, dry cleaners in my neighborhood closed. He's like, can you clean my stuff for me? Can you fix it? He has some pants. Can you fix them? I was like, of course we can fix them. But the fact that he was like, hey, a lot of people, he's like, he's like, there are no more dry cleaners where I live. They closed because of COVID. Like, and think about how many of them either closed because people didn't come to work or people got infected. Or people just is like, I'm not going. Or the owner just said, you know what? I had enough.
Right.
Because the revenue is not coming in.
Right. Well, Webster also defines coma as a state of mental or physical sluggishness. So you talked about COVID fatigue. People might just be tired of thinking about COVID or tired about thinking about their situation. Or I mentioned earlier, you might have had prolonged success. And so you just take it for granted that your business is going to continue to operate the way it's been operated. Or if the past few months has been difficult for you, you may think that it will continue to be that way. And so your mind isn't actively thinking about different scenarios. So in that respect, you might be experiencing a coma as it applies to your business or to your personal life. So we're going to give you 5 tips, our 5 tips on how we rebounded from our businesses.
She's going to give you 5 tips. I'm just going to hit and rant.
Recent business comas. What? How is it going to be a rant?
I'm just going to rant about each one of the tips.
Okay.
Wear your mask.
You know, people like it when you rant. Tip number 1.
Wear your mask.
Regroup. Tip number 2, reallocate. Tip number 3, keep it real. Tip number 4, get really quiet and still. And tip number 5, reflect. So, Chief, the first tip is to regroup. Did you want to rant or did you want me to?
I'm saying we regrouped. I brought everybody in. I texted everybody on the group chat and was like, get tested now because somebody got COVID. And then send me your results ASAP, right? And then I went to the store. And I opened up and ran the store because everybody else had to go get tested.
So that meant more work for you.
Yep. But now I'm about to make some more hires because this ain't going to happen again.
Well.
And everybody's going to have to wear a mask. Not a mask. They're going to have to wear a helmet with a breathing filtration system on there at the soapbox now. We're going to get those helmets the astronauts wear with the tank, with a tube coming out with an oxygen tank on the side. I had enough.
Maybe that'll keep people from eating all the snacks. But as we had to think about regrouping, we stopped and focused on what was essential, what was immediate. What were those things that we need to do?
What's the minimum you can do and still keep everything running?
Right. And then what could wait and what was optional? Because if it was something that was optional, then we didn't have to do it. And it brings to mind Dr. Stephen R. Covey's 7 Habits of Effective People, where one of the habits was...
Huh? Have you read that book?
I have. It was a long time ago, but yes, I have. Weren't you just recently listening to the audiobook?
Yeah. And I don't remember. I just don't remember.
Tip, when you're listening to an audiobook or reading a book, take time in between the different information to jot down something that sticks out to you and to take an action step towards that. That's how you can better retain the content that you hear or read. And what really matters at the end is that you make it applicable. So...
Or just listen to it 2 or 3 times, and then sooner or later,
nonetheless, when you listen to it, stop and take notes. But there,
if you're driving, I listen to audiobooks when I drive.
Well, if you listen, put your finger on.
I'm driving. I can't touch the phone.
Button.
I can't.
Bookmark button.
I can't touch the phone.
Yes, you can.
I've seen you.
I've seen you.
I'll get a ticket. I don't do that.
Anyway, the 2
hands on the wheel.
Dr. Covey's
3 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
7
always.
Habits of Highly Effective People.
Only when I'm shifting gears do I take my other hand off the wheel.
That stood out to us at that time. Where number 1, put first things first. So anything that's not a priority, move it to the back of the line, and then begin with the end in mind. So we knew what results we had to provide to our clients, and so anything that wasn't important, we didn't do it. Number 2, reallocate. Now, this is timely because we had one client who asked for us to shift coverage at some of their sites because they had a standing budget, but the need at one site changed.
So it was like, move people from here and put them there because we can't spend more money. We can only keep spending the same money.
Right.
So reallocate.
Right. And so we did the same thing in both of our businesses during our recent COVID coma. We moved our people and resources to the priority business areas, and then we put everything else on pause. We just did not focus on it. So we are getting out thank you notes to our loyal employees who've been working with us throughout the year. And as much as we wanted to make sure we put those in everybody's hand, that just was not the top priority. So I had the cards.
Here you go. Thank you.
I had the little thank you gifts.
You having a super spreader thank you event?
And they just had to sit in the corner until we could get through the staffing challenges, the communication challenges, the client requests, and come out on the other side. So sometimes you just got to reallocate.
Yep.
Number 3, keep it real.
Keep it real. It speaks for itself.
So
just tell it like it is.
When you have challenging times,
Don't lie.
Whether it's that you are in a coma, a commerce coma,
or you tell 2 lies to cover the other.
So it's not even about telling lies. It's about being upfront about what the situation is. So don't sugarcoat the situation when you're talking to your clients.
Because they're not stupid. They know.
Team members, when you're talking to your stakeholders.
They know.
Because oftentimes they're going through their own challenges. So we're trying to find people to go to these different client assignments. Our clients are pressed to have people coming into their office at the same time. Or in one case, our primary client representative, he is at home with COVID himself.
Sorry, I won't be there.
Right. He was like, I'll catch up with you next week. You could call me, but
I'm out of the office.
I got COVID. I'm like, are you okay? Oh my gosh. So just remember, it's important that you communicate. Be realistic about what you can and cannot do. And then what you can do, execute. Or as they say in the country, get her done.
Just under promise and over deliver. That's all.
All right.
If you only got 2 people, tell them you got 1. And then when 2 show up, they'll be like, whoa, you're great. That's it. I only got 1 cake left. Then they get 2. You're like, oh, you're the best. You made it happen. Yeah.
Make it happen. That's it. Number 4, get really quiet and still. When things are going awry, the temptation is often to get busy and just start doing stuff for stuff's sake. I know here at Johnson Security, especially over the last 2 weeks, when we would go to the team with questions about what was happening, they would give us a laundry list of, well, I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that.
Can you just answer the question? Can you just answer the question I asked you?
At the end of the day, we don't make money off of our efforts. We make money off of our results. And so understanding what those results are and getting stuff done, that's important. But, and, I don't like to use but, and.
You did.
I know. A better approach when the proverbial ish hits the fan is to be still, be quiet, and to give your mind the opportunity to reset. Because if you keep replaying all the mind junk, everything that's going wrong, everything that you can't do,
you focus on the wrong thing.
You won't have the clearness, the clarity of mind to identify what the potential is, what you can do. And so it's important that you be quiet and be still so that you give your mind the opportunity to start afresh and think about what can be. I know that we are watching on Netflix, what was a year-end special? Well, I don't remember what it was called. And Hugh Grant played a character.
He didn't play a character. He was just ranting.
And he was ranting about James.
I think it was like
James Bond.
The year 2021 in review or something like that.
2021 in review. And so the character, Hugh Grant's character, he's talking about James Bond. He was like, anybody could be James Bond. Like the next James Bond will probably wear a dress and he'll stop and take mindfulness breaks. So I know that it's a joke.
He was mad reckless.
For people to be mindful. Nonetheless, in business and in your personal life, I encourage you to make time to think so that you can make the most of opportunities. And when you face challenges, you can best address those challenges because you know the possibilities, because you've given your mind a chance to find them. Like our minds are solution seekers. And so you can't find a solution if you're talking in a negative, what you can't do. And again, your mind is filled with mind trash.
Right. You can't solve the problem if all you keep thinking about is a problem. Do you really think Thomas Edison invented the light bulb by thinking about all the light bulbs he did before and be like, I can't do it. This is impossible. I should have used, I don't know, whatever's in the filament. Oh, magnesium sucks. Or zinc and copper oxide. Like, why did I put that in there? Oh, God, this sucks. People don't need light. I'll never figure this out. Like, you really think, like, you can't just focus on the problem. Like, the minute you start talking about it's impossible, it can't be done. Well, then you know what? Guess what? You're not going to do it.
Right. And then number 5 is reflect. Once the situation begins to settle, take account of all of the challenges that you faced during your business coma, right? And then how did you address each of those challenges? Or if you didn't address some of those challenges, which challenges did you not address? Remember to be kind to yourself, because there are plenty of people who have hit comas of all different types and they did not rebound. They did not have the mind power. They did not have the energy to fight. They just stopped and said, you know what, game over. That's not you. That's not your situation. So if you're coming out through a commerce coma, not a coma, be kind to yourself.
A comma, pause.
Even if you didn't have the perfect outcome, you had an outcome and you can build on that. One thing to keep in mind that in business, there are no constants and that you're likely to go through new challenges each and every day. And so as you reflect on how you came out of that coma, think about what other potential threats you and your business face and ways that you can mitigate those challenges moving forward so that when a situation approaches, if you do end up in another coma, it won't be for long and you'll be able to rebound better and faster than you did the last time. There are a lot of considerations to take into account as we think about how COVID has particularly impacted small businesses like ours, like friends who own small businesses and those aspiring to own small business. But we want you to know that in spite of the challenges with COVID, in spite of when it feels like your business has been comatose, you can come through. This has been a particularly challenging 2 weeks for us as business owners, for us as a married couple trying to keep our heads above water and remain positive.
I can't even go get a haircut. This is crazy. I can't even schedule an appointment to get a haircut. Somebody in the office needs to learn how to cut hair so they can cut my hair when I come to work.
And not to say because we survived, you can survive. You can do it.
I need a traveling barber. Come to the office.
You can do it.
They can cut all of our hairs.
You can do it.
I'm going to do that.
And in closing.
We need at least 3 people, though, Espinosa.
Oh, I got a couple that need it. Here. So in closing,
come, they cut 3 of us.
I want to leave you with a quote from J.M. Power, who said, if you want to make your dreams come true, the first thing that you have to do is wake up. If you find yourself in either a life or a commerce coma, it's okay. Just make the choice to wake up and to apply the 5 tips that we shared with you today to help rebound beyond your coma. We hope this helps. We hope that 2022 will get better for you, as will it get better for us. And we encourage you to like, subscribe, hit us up in the DMs, and share Commerce and Chill with your friends, family, and even the folks that you don't like. Because now we're on Brick, we're on BronxNet, we're on all your favorite podcast platforms, or you could just come to commerceandchill.com and you'll find us there. We hope that you found this information beneficial and that you'll continue to come back to Commerce and Chill, where we can share our experiences and help get you encouraged to rebound and to be successful in 2022.